Assalamu alaikum. Greetings to our Muslim family and friends and our new converts, as well as non-Muslims. We greet you with the greeting of peace, Assalamu alaikum, which means may peace be upon you. And so my name is Dr. Gloria Bashir, and on behalf of Imam Tariq Al-Amin, Resident Imam of Masjid Al-Taqwa, and the Talim Committee, chaired by Dr. Aisha El-Amin, and committee members, Dr. Lionel Allen, as well as Brother Shamsuddin Siddiq, and myself, we welcome you to this Talim. And today's format is that of, we have our main presenter, but we will also have other presenters who will add commentary. And this is a presentation from Masjid Al-Taqwa's Islamic Studies and Arabic class, which is led by Imam Rabbani Mubashshir. And so with that said, we're gonna get started. I'm hoping that we have a robust conversation as we conclude, and you're welcome to raise your hand and ask questions along the way. And as I said, class members will be interjecting along the way, but our main presenter today is Sister Khadija Ali, who is a senior Arabic student with Imam Rabbani Mubashshir. So I'm going to first introduce Imam Rabbani Mubashshir, who is going to make some commentaries. Imam Rabbani.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. Alhamdulillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, I've had the good fortune of being able to start the Arabic class at Masjid Al-Taqwa, and we've going on for some years now. But I need to get some of the background is really is necessary for this presentation, because this presentation is a kind of like a workshop, and it is like our first effort or group effort, collective effort to use the Arabic language in a very specific way. But I really feel that we owe it to those who came before us, our Arabic teachers, to remember how this came about for me, for my personal experience in this community and in learning Arabic language and encouragement from the teachers. And the one that stands out, which I say, everything I'm going to say is related to this project as an introduction. The beginning of Arabic from one of our outstanding imams, may Allah forgive his sins and grant in paradise, Imam Kazim Ahmed. He presented the Arabic alphabet in this association in a particular way of grouping the Arabic letters. I won't go into the details of that, but I just want to point out that the method is an associative learning approach. And by associating Arabic letters into groupings called families, it enabled us to kind of expedite or make easier the way, easier for us to learn, be attracted to, and with confidence of learning the Arabic language. All of us, I'm sure, in our hearts have a love and affection for the Arabic language, even if we've never been into a formal class. But we know that just listening to the beautiful recitation of the Qur'an, it touches all of us. And even during the month of Ramadan and Taraweeh prayer, we do our best to recite it to the most faithful and most authentic way as I possibly can. And Allah knows our hearts, right? So this is what we like for you to consider, that you would be doing us a great service if you see us all as beginning students. But Allah has blessed us to, as we feel to have to, you get a discipline and that opens the way for other disciplines. So these students have really shown that they have the discipline for the devotion, the commitment to studying the Arabic language. And that's why I feel I have to say that, to see how this is now a step that we feel that we can take now, because of the fact that we were able to successfully learn the Arabic alphabet, was able to accept that challenge, conquer that goal, and we all have a good knowledge of the Arabic alphabet. The second step in this associative learning process, and that's what we're featuring, hopefully it will evolve even to more and greater opportunities for learning, studying of what the Quran, right? And this is our motivation. The second step involves being able to look at a Quranic verse, to look at a Quranic Arabic word and read that word and feel successful. And yes, as baby steps, we will use translation, we'll use the Arabic, we'll use the translation to help us grow as a study objective or as a study method. So we become familiar with the word, as Sister Khadija is going to present to us, focusing on words of Al-Fatiha as our foundation. And using our ability as we develop that ability. Of course, what is the purpose for learning Arabic alphabet? Of course, to read the Arabic language, and also secondary, to be able to look up Arabic words in the Arabic dictionary. Hans Ware Dictionary is a common dictionary, Arabic English Dictionary, and other Arabic English Dictionary. So she will be using some of the dictionary, and she will demonstrate to us just how we have been approaching that process of having to have a deeper knowledge from our own effort to go and see exactly, pick out a word in the verse, and thereby being able to look up, have the ability independently to look up that Arabic word and associate it with the English meaning or concept. So this is really what kind of like the second level we've arrived at from being able to read verses of the Quran or Arabic Quranic words and then find greater meaning for them. But from the dictionary as well as from the commentary of Imam W. Muhammad, and these are kind of like our main sources. So at this point, I will conclude my introductory comments, and that further at such time as we need to illustrate how we arrive at certain meanings, Sister Khadija will actually guide us further along that with examples from the Al-Fatiha. So Sister Khadija, we're ready for your presentation.
Let me just interject here that I just want to really formally introduce our dear sister here, as well as our other class members, Brother Shamsuddin Sadiq, who's also a member of this Talim committee, myself as a member of this class and part of the Talim committee, and Brother Ishmael Malik, who's part of, who has joined our group, who's part of this class, and our dear sister Khadija Ali, who will lead this portion of the presentation. So thank you, sister.
I think you left out one person.
Who did I leave out?
Dr. Gloria Bashir.
Oh, and myself. Thank you very much. So, Sister Khadija, we are ready for you to take it away.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. My presentation is on Al-Fatiha.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Sister Khadija.
What?
We have to bring up our PowerPoint.
We have to bring up our PowerPoint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we opened with Al-Fatiha.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Imam Rabbani, would you like to lead us in Al-Fatiha?
Yes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. All right. Just give me one moment. You all will have to let me know, Sister.
Okay, our PowerPoint presentation is up now. Thank you very much, Imam Rabbani. Please go ahead, Sister Khadija.
Okay. That's the introductory screen.
Is it visible yet?
Yes.
Can you see it, Sister Khadija?
Yeah, when I switched to my phone, it's kind of different. Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh,
We didn't lose her, did we?
No, she's here.
Okay.
I'm here.
This is the right side, right?
Go on. See that other?
Is it? Can you see it?
Not good. No, I can't.
What's wrong with it? Is it
You just-
Sister Khadija, maybe if you can use the phone as your mode of communication, but open your iPad and use that as your screen, and you can because you can open them.
do both. I didn't know you could do both.
Yes, you can open them simultaneously.
Okay. Excuse me.
okay?
Well, we know that there are always technical difficulties, so please beg our pardon. And but we know that this is going to be a very, very powerful presentation. We hope that you receive it as such. We're very excited about it. This has been very much a labor of love for all of us. This is actually a 4-part series, so this is part 1 of the 4-part series, and so we're very, very excited to present today.
This meeting is being recorded.
Mute yourself. Turn the volume all the way down
On her phone or laptop.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
You have to turn the volume all the way down on either the phone or the iPad.
Yeah, I did it on the phone. I turned it all the way down on the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Again.
So we are getting a little bit of feedback.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to cut this. I'm gonna have to cut the phone off. Yeah.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready.
Al-Fatiha, the opening. This surah is needed to be introduced to human beings to necessitate seeing Allah properly. Humanity had been misdirected from knowing the oneness of Allah and resorted to belief in false gods. Al-Fatiha is also referred to as the victory over the struggle human beings have faced with false worship. Verse 1, Ayat 1. With the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. The merciful benefactor is Ar-Rahman. The attribute Ar-Rahman generally pertains to this life. His mercy and love manifested in the creation of the universe. Verse 2. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. The guardian Baba who oversees the development from stage to stage, Lord, Ra of all the systems of knowledge. Verse 3, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, Ar-Rahim, ever merciful, extremely and continuously loving and merciful dispenser of grace and love as a result of our deeds and supplications, and one in whom the attribute is constantly and excessively repeated. Verse 4, master of the day of judgment. Allah is the master and owner of the day of judgment. No partners, sole owner. Verse 5, you alone do we worship, and your aid do we seek. Allah's help will come when we are redirected to the one who is capable of providing that help. Guide us on the straight way. Al-Fatiha indirectly teaches that the best thing for mankind is to pray for guidance on the straight path. Guidance comes after you see Allah properly. The way of those, verse 7, the way of those upon you have bestowed your grace, those whose portion is not wrath and who go not astray. Al-Fatiha, the foundation of Salat. The root letters for Fatiha is Fa, Ta, Ha. Key words in the 7 ayats, significance and meaning. Merciful, benefactor, merciful redeemer, root letters, Ra, Ha, Ming. Guide us, Ha, Del, Ya. Master, owner, Malik versus Malik, Ming, Lam, Ka. Worship, Ain, Ba, Dal, and help, Ain, Wa, Noon. Guidance, Ha, Da, Ya, and the straight way, Ka, Wa, Ming. Bestow grace, Noon, Ain, Ming. Earn wrath, Gain, Da, Ba.
We need to go back to that last slide.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm just going to interject here that Brother Ishmael has some commentary on this particular slide.
Oh, I see. Okay, this is the I was just going to add that the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, Rahama or Rahma, and the guide us, Hadaya, Haida, and Malikat, or Malaka, Malik, okay, then Abadat, the worship, and then Awana, and the help. And then the guidance is Hadaya, Hadid, or Hadid, or Kawama, the straight way. And let me see. I'm on my what's it called now. My computer's down, so I'm on my little phone now. And the next one is Nawa. It said Nawama, so great. And to earn the wrath is called Gadaba, Radaba. Okay, so that's the fact that Bismillah Rahim, Alhamdulillah, Rabbi Alamin, Ar-Rahman Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waliddallin.
Thank you, Brother Ismail. The intent here was to be able to not just talk about the foundation of Salat and those root words, these key words in those 7 ayats and their significance, but also introducing the Arabic letters, those root letters, and introducing, because we have many people on this call who may be new to Arabic or new to Islam, and we want to make sure that we give some context and reference to the Arabic words and Arabic letters and that translation. So thank you very much. Sister Khadija, can you continue, please?
Okay. Summary. This surah is in fact a prayer which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught to all those who want to make a study of his book, the Quran. it has placed at the very beginning of the book to teach his lessons to the reader. We're encouraged to study the Quran with the mental attitude of a seeker after truth, to recognize the fact that the Lord of the universe is the source of all knowledge.
Thank you very much, Sister Khadijah. And so with that, what our hope is that we can have a robust conversation. And I'd like to first bring a little commentary from Brother Shamsuddin Sadiq with regard to Al-Fatiha and how and how we're able to interpret that, how we're able to, and the meaning of that in our lives as Muslims. Brother Shamsuddin?
Assalamu alaikum. I was so encouraged when I heard about this class going on. And we have to all continuously encourage ourselves or one another to study the Arabic. And because Allah actually has a unique message, and I'm getting that even more and more as I'm even seeing this class and the translation that we're getting from doing the study. Let me tell you what I mean. Let me explain what I mean. Allah has a unique message for each and every one of us in the Quran. And Imam Rabbani actually did a khutbah not too long ago where he was explaining two verses, and I'm paraphrasing, where Allah says, subhanahu wa ta'ala, their hearts were sealed so they could not hear. And so this is the condition that Muhammad the Prophet was chosen because of the condition of his heart. It was because of the condition of his intention. And this is what we have to use as an example. Like when we were younger, like for example, in Claire Muhammad's school, and we were learning our first 5 surahs, you know, we were struggling as we were growing older, saying the surahs in Arabic while trying to connect the meaning in English. So our prayer would be more impactful. And like, for example, we were saying Alif class, where Allah says, Lam yalid wa lam yulad. And we grew up understanding that that means he begets not, nor is he begotten. And Imam Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, in all his works, he came and he said, what that really means is never did he bear any children, nor was he ever born a child. And it makes it clearer, it makes it more digestible and easy to understand. Also, in the prayer where it says, Inna ma'al usri yusra, surely with difficulty comes ease. Imam Muhammad corrected that. He said that what that really means is the ease is on the inside of the difficulty. So embrace the difficulty because the ease is definitely coming. It's not like when, you know, it's coming or how far around the corner. It's right there. So embrace the difficulty. So the measure of what we get, the measure of our study depends upon our effort and our intention. And I'm just so proud of this class. The teachings and the teacher and just being a part of it is absolutely wonderful. And I encourage everybody to study and get involved with the class too. And we'll all get more of that light of understanding. And I want to say this last thing. You know how you can be in the classroom and you'll be sitting in the front of the class with all of the other students there, and you'll be one of the last ones to say, oh, now I get it. That light of understanding is what only comes from Allah. Only Allah can turn on that light. And he does it because of your intentions, because of the condition of your heart. So dive in, embrace learning the Arabic, and inshallah, we'll all continue to rise together as a community, and rise we shall, inshallah. So that's what I had. I'm excited.
Ameen.
I'm excited. I want y'all to get what I'm getting. I want y'all to feel what I'm feeling, everybody. So get in. Get in. That's all I had.
That was beautiful, Brother Shamsuddin. I totally agree with you as a member of this class as well. And I have probably the least amount of Arabic in my background, but you know, it is always challenging, because anytime that you are taxed or really, you know, really challenging yourself to learn at any time is a challenge. But when as you are an older person, as you are trying to learn a language that is not, you know, that is very different for you, and you know, it's always quite challenging. But we are rising to that challenge. We're excited about it. With regard to Al-Fatiha and the opening, right? Yeah. Just recognizing that that's the start for all of us, right? Without Al-Fatiha, you cannot make your prayer, right? Just understanding that alone, that is a requirement of prayer. That is the essence of the Quran. And so once you know that brings your heart closer, right, to the intention of the book.
Right. Right.
So that is what excites me. And and I think recognizing, you know, just those simple words that we say throughout our prayer, and recognizing also that we don't always, if you're not a natural Arabic speaker, you don't always connect. You don't make that transliteration, right? You don't make that translation, right? That you're used to saying the word, but to actually break the words down one by one, each word in those 7 ayats have such specific meanings.
Yes, yes, it does.
And once you begin to learn those meanings, really, you know, that's when your mind, that's when it's like,
your prayer will be on another level. I get it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so crucial a point to make, as Sister Dr. Gloria is making, those are the words of the prayer. If you just say that, the prayer is valid. If that's the only thing we say Al-Fatiha. And she said the essence of the book is seen as, it's called the Quran, the mother of the book. And that the Prophet, prayers and peace upon us, said to us that all of the Quran is in the Al-Fatiha, the essence of the book. The main heart or soul of the whole Quran is expressed in Al-Fatiha. So what that means is incumbent upon us to understand Al-Fatiha beyond just what's on the surface. I think that's what we're saying, right? And that's what, now this is what Khadija was pointing out, and if we just look at each of those statements or commentary on Al-Fatiha, which brings me to what we must mention, and inshallah, maybe we'll be able to, through Zoom, illustrate the app that we use. The reason why we're looking at the root verbs, right? Why are we looking at, because those are the roots, those are the way, that is the window for the dictionary, to see the other meanings. And thank Allah, as modern times and modern technology and new generations of Muslims have come up to help us with this study, we have these devices, as we say, the computer, the Zoom, the iPhone, and we have the app that main app for us in the class is called Quran Hive. I think some of our listeners may be familiar with it or something similar to it. But but the Quran Hive allows us, by having this ability to read the Arabic word, for example, Fatiha, right? I was able to just pull it up on my phone using Quran Hive. Now it's not in Al-Fatiha, right? But Quran Hive would allow me to go to the surah called Fet. Y'all with me, right? This is the associative learning process. Now, no one maybe have identified, it's established the right standard of learning. This is typical of Imam W. Muhammad's tafsir. This is how he began in 1975, right? And all of us can now, just by thinking that this is a process, we can see that this is also the Quranic method, isn't it? Associating words with certain realities.
Yes.
Associative learning is a principle that states that ideas and experiences reinforce each other and can be mentally linked to one another. So when we're talking about victory, we're talking about Al-Fatiha, right? But as Sister Khadija pointed out, the victory is not a physical victory, it's a spiritual victory in the defeat of idolatry. So now we see why the Quran is so important, why the Al-Fatiha is so important as an opening. And she associated with it, and the association is with victory. So from learning the Arabic letters, Fat, Ta, as she explained, Fa, Ta, and Ha, the dictionary meaning would be to open, to explain, to grant, to disclose, to let out, to give victory, to conquer. So now then we take that understanding of the written word, and now we look through the verses of Al-Fatiha and see how it can be applied, because now we have more tools, right? There are more ways we can associate with it. And the first one, of course, was shirk, right? And what's the word for key? Miftah. So that becomes the opening. And what is being opened? If we had a discussion, and this is the discussion period, right? What is it that needed to be opened? The Imam points out, he gives a reference. He said, when the revelation of Quran came, was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, this was during the what? The dark ages. So what Al-Fatiha is opening is the closed mind, the closed potential, actually. That Allah created the human being to do what? To read, and to read what? To read the signs. But that had all been closed. Idolatry shuts all that down. So now Allah reveals that Fatiha, and that's the victory over the darkness. And that's all the comments I want to say. Y'all go ahead.
Well, I think that's an amazing comment. I do want to call on Sister Khadija, because Sister Khadija, you had some amazing commentaries. And what I want to say also, Sister Khadija, that we are completely in your corner and supporting you. We know that that sometimes you feel a little shy about speaking, but you have such amazing information. And I know that you had more commentary, and I'm just encouraging you to share that because it's very important.
Yeah.
And I also want to encourage Brother Ishmael, another member of the class, who really, benefits from the insights of his spouse, who is an Arabic speaker, and who's also been very, very helpful in our class. And and of course, Brother Shamsuddin, to make more comments. And we're opening up the floor as well to our audience. Those of you, I know that Sister Rashida has been studying Arabic. I know that Brother Roderick Bashir has been studying Arabic, and Sister Latifa Wangara. So I'm really encouraging you all to jump into this conversation, because this is the opening.
I must acknowledge the Muslim American Logic Institute. If this system has really began with Muslim American Logic Mali program, Imam Salim Mukmin, which has been going, I went to his workshops back in the 80s, so that's how long he's been teaching, and he has hundreds and hundreds of students, but I must give credit to him. This method of approaching the study of the Quran is also a very major contribution that Mali has made to this association, this community.
Yes, yes. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Ishmael.
Oh, inshallah. Oh, I wanted to comment and say, what we're doing here has to do with the Quranic Arabic. It's actually Quranic Arabic is above Arabic. Arabic has got its own way of, enunciating this, that, and the other, but Quranic Arabic is the language of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not Arabs. It's just came by way of their language. So when that language was introduced, they was amazed that they had something that was so elegant like that. They couldn't believe it. Where did that come from? They didn't have a clue. But eventually, they found out. So, they had to find out too, and they still finding out. So inshallah. But my wife is here, and she no, she don't have a comment, but that's okay. So it's, it's okay. But the whole idea of it is to understand the Quranic Arabic and the way it comes down, and what have you, be able to do that, and the lessons that we get from Mubashshir and the stuff we do online and what have you. has a lot to do with ourselves and studying and working with what we have in front of us. And my wife, she's been a good educator when it comes to knowing it, because she knows the language in the Qur'anic text and what have you. But the Arabic language, she doesn't speak the Arabic, but she knows it in the Qur'anic text, because that's how she was brought up. She was brought up with learning all of that, you know, in the Islamic faith. That's how it came to her and what have you. So she's actually learning too. As we all are. So alhamdulillah for that.
Sister Sharifa, tell everyone where she's from.
Huh?
Tell everyone where your wife is from.
Oh yeah, she's from Malaysia. Yeah, she's Malaysian. Yeah, she's a Malaysian.
Now, I'd like to also include that Brother Shamsuddin's wife is an Arabic speaker as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he's, from his own studies early on in life, growing up in Sister Claire Muhammad School, as he talked about previously, and having the benefit of having a spouse who's an Arabic speaker, and that his children have become very, very, very excellent students of the Arabic language. And so I'd like to just call on, as Sister Khadija, I know that she is pulling her references and such together, her commentary. But Brother Shamsuddin, I'm calling on you to just share some of the accomplishments and benefits of having your children study this language, and the having the compliment of your wife to support this process.
Wow. All praise due to Allah. Alhamdulillah. You know, I remember growing up, and you know, we were trying to learn the Arabic, and you know, having Imam Darnell Kareem as our teacher, and you know, and struggling with it, and always being encouraged by my father, you know, to read the Qur'an and study the Arabic, and I didn't have the opportunity to like go to school like my sons are doing, you know, and alhamdulillah, they've come a long way. My son, my older son, they're both reading Qur'an, but Taki, he reads the Qur'an in all Arabic, and he understands it, and he gets things, and it's such an encouragement for me. He gets things that I've never even seen, like in the English translation, and I'm like, what did you see? What did you see? And he's explaining things to me that are registering to him, because you know, he's getting it from, he's getting those messages that we're hungry and eager to learn for. I will say this. I think that why this class as well, on the flip side, in our community, learning and being students of Imam Muhammad is so important. I remember when we were going you know, had the opportunity like to go to different places in the world to go to school, when Imam Muhammad was helping to provide those connections and opportunities for education. Why this class is so important is because this understanding of what we are getting, like especially like from this class, is coming as a system of checks and balances for everything it is we read. So you'll see different translations, you know, of what things mean, but what registers as being clearest, and again, I guess I would have to say, what's the best system of checks and balances, is the understanding that I get that comes from this community. And you know, I have like different versions and different translations rather of the Quran, and you know, this this class and the understanding that we get from this community really helps open things up, you know, for me in terms of the understanding of what I'm reading, so it registers more. So, you know, Rashida, my wife, she actually grew up as you know, she was a teacher in Morocco, and she teaches. She teaches not just in, but she teaches, the language is Fusha Arabiya. So so it's awesome to have her as a, you know, as a help. But I use like what I get here, from Imam Muhammad's books. I'm like, you know what, let me look at this and make 100%, you know, and it makes me feel good that we have this and we get clarification from it. So we getting it from both sides, and all praise due to Allah. What makes me feel best is that I'm seeing what my father was trying to help me get and wanted so bad for me come in my children, and you know, and it's just encouraging, and it's making me dive in too. And I want to just encourage everybody, just dive in, because again, the measure of what we get depends upon our effort and intention. So open up, make this important, and again, let's all like rise up together, because man, it is good. It is so good.
So some of the references that we've used, as Imam Rabbani talked about, Quran Hive. We've also used word by word, and you know, you can utilize these sources in a lot of different ways. But for us, what's been important is that we're able to find references and, you know, find ways to really get a more comprehensive explanation in, you know, by just going to a limited number of sources. Again, the beauty of having this technology, having the tablets and iPhones and Androids and, you know, iPads and computers, because all of this can be in one place. You know, many, you know, a few years back, someone who was trying to study would have to be in a library going through volumes and volumes of books. And now you can just use the root letters. And that's one of the significant reasons why we wanted to identify those root letters at the beginning of this presentation, because that's how you begin to look up words. You find the root letters, and using the root letters gives you a wealth of knowledge about that particular word. Because in the Arabic language, the root is how you begin to that's what expands and defines for you. And that's why it's so important. And that was why we wanted to include that portion. And though it might not have initially made a lot of sense, but we think it's very important, because we know that studying Arabic and wherever level you're at, and we do have some people on the call who have been studying Arabic for a lot of years. We've got Sister Latifa, Brother Roger Bashir, who's been studying. We have Sister Rashida, whose father was an Arabic teacher in this community. So we're sure that you know, that she's been able to acquire much information from, you know, just her contact and exposure with her father, who not long ago passed away. May Allah grant him rest in peace. And but that's the reason why we wanted to introduce the concept of the root letters. And that's only something you really are introduced to if you're in an Arabic class. And so, Sister Khadija.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Brother Roger, yes, please jump on.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you all very much for doing this presentation, and I look forward to the other 3 presentations you'll do on this subject. But I wanted to get back to Al-Fatiha itself, because and all of us share this spirit, particularly because we benefited from the inspiration of our teacher, Imam Muhammad, who had a unique way of presenting or translating the Arabic language into English. There are so many words that he presented to us in a way that was different from the traditional way, where we would say, in the name of Allah. He introduced with the name of Allah, because you need Allah's help with with Al-Fatiha. He introduced systems of knowledge into Al-Fatiha, and we were looking at it in quite a different way. And we're not the only ones that benefited from that. The world of Al-Islam, the Muslim world and the world in general benefited from his translation of Arabic into English so that we as English speakers could understand it. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, and I was hoping Imam Rabbani could comment on this, the Imam taught us that the Qur'an is a commentary and a correction of previous scripture. And when we read and listen to and observe Al-Fatiha, some of those attributes that belong to Allah alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala, have been attributed to others. And so even in Al-Fatiha, you see that Allah is correcting the human being, with the name of Allah. He's the owner and the master, the sole judge on the day of judgment, where that attribute has been given to others. And there are so many other, Redeemer, for example, that attribute has been given to someone else. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clearing that up, that he is the merciful benefactor and the merciful redeemer. So there's, and then all the way through Al-Fatiha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is correcting what transpired prior to the revelation to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rabbani, if you can, I know we only have a couple minutes, but
absolutely,
you and I have talked about this a little bit, and I'd like for you to make some comments on it.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about it for the next hour.
Yeah, well, if you got another hour, I'm on.
You don't want to lit me up with that observation in Surah Nas. I would like to begin though, Muhammad, by saying that Imam Muhammad taught class here in Chicago every Sunday, week in, week out, month, year after year, right? And he told us that in this class, he's teaching two things: Qur'anic Arabic, as Dr. Gloria just mentioned, and comparative religion. So Rod noticed, you should share what you noticed, Rod, about Surah Nas, the three descriptions of Allah as Rabb, right? You showed it to me, but that's what the man was telling us, to see how the Quran is expressing previous scriptures, right? And correcting mistakes. And like you just pointed out, right, the Rabb was assigned to the mother, the son of Maryam. We were given him as the Lord. But Allah, and the Jews said that God is the Lord of Israel. So now, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen comes to correct, but it does also comes to correct, but also comes to open up a world of knowledge for us. And this is what the Imam emphasizes in his commentary, the new book commentary by Imam Muhammad on the Quranic verses. He goes even further in depth in this. And this is what we're hoping to attempt as a class, to unlock the knowledge of the Quran with the key. The key is the miftah. The word for key is miftah, fatiha. Miftah is the key that unlocks. So we know it's locked up. This is one of the earlier concepts too, was it? The Imam said when the Bible was closed, it said it was sealed. And then the next verse in the first surah of the Quran is open.
It's sealed with 7 seals.
With 7 seals. See, I told you now, don't start now. We can get off into another workshop here. You know that, right? Right. One truth leads on to another. So I just want to end my comments with the Quran is really, and this is my new, I believe Allah showed this to me, this concept of association, the method of associative learning. If we can see it conceptually, we can teach it to others. We're not just saying what the Imam said. We're not just saying what I saw in the dictionary. We're saying that this is an established concept, Quranic, scriptural concept of associating and seeking concepts, or what we call the signs of God, right? The ayat.
Yes.
All our discussions about ayats, everything that has been said when we go to the Quran is an ayat. The words, the ayats, the concepts. But the verse of the Quran, I think that stands that represents all this one verse, I'm sure there's many, is that a good word is like a good tree. A goodly word is like a good tree, right? And it talks about, so this is tell us what the concept of word is knowledge then. That begins with a concept, a single word. And this is how the class it begins with the ABCs, right? Al-Fatiha. And we get that first word, right? But then it has branches. The Quran goes into gives a description of this system of language, which is Imam's emphasis, linguistic system, right? Linguistic systems. And also we know, well, I'll just say branches, and each branch grows and grows and extends as Rod is applying it now to scriptural language, scriptural concepts, and the question of Rod, which Khadija, I think, made a very good, strong point about our relationship as a living, right, creation of God, that we have to have that relationship with the Lord of the systems of knowledge. It goes on and on. We know that, right? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much, Imam Rabbani. That I really enjoyed your insights. Thank you, Brother Roderick, as well. Sister Khadija, did you have some closing comments?
It was two other statements I'm looking in my notes about. Being that the first verses of opening chapter Al-Fatiha make a clear statement that the praise and thanks are all for Allah. They make us conscious that we glorify Him first before asking for help. It removes all false gods out of the way. That's the first four verses. The last three verses are our supplications for help, which we cannot ask for help until we understand Allah being the one and only. So we cannot ask for guidance without correcting the problem of being directed to knowing the oneness of Allah. By asking Allah to aid us, we are admitting that we are incapable of doing anything without His help.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Yes. Hence, with the name of Allah.
Yeah.
With the name of Allah, right?
Wow.
So everything we do, so all of your intentions, right, are born out of, you know, or we propose should be born out of with the name of Allah. Anything you intend to do to glorify Allah and to grow your own faith and commitment to Allah's will and the mercies that Allah that He embraces us with. Because every day, you know, we are seeking Allah's mercy, right? But you can only seek mercy when you have good intentions. I mean, you can seek mercy whenever you want, but the only time you can expect, right, is with good intentions. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Are there any questions or any other comments from anyone? We are really...
I have a question. Assalamu
alaikum. Yes, Sister Rashida.
I just wanted to find out, do you all believe it would be too much for me to join this class as well as the class that I'm in at the Islamic Learning Institute?
Well, I think Imam Rabbani can respond to that.
Yeah, please advise.
I try to get Arabic knowledge wherever I find it.
Okay.
YouTube, books, grammar books, other people.
Only reason why I said this, I just was kind of like, you know, from a teacher perspective, I know that you have to get your foundation first before, you know, and I can totally appreciate just being able to almost like proctor again. I mean, not proctor, but just sit in and watch and observe,
audit
the class. Exactly. Because I don't want to, I know I don't have, some of the things that I'm learning right now in the class, if they're familiar to me, is reminding me of, oh yes, I remember, hearing that. Because we're just going over the families. When you said the families, I'm like, yeah, there's the dot family, there's the odd family, and there's the harsh belly family. That's about as far as I got with Arabic.
Cup
And I just,
family.
yeah, so that's where I'm at, and I just didn't know if it would be I know I don't know. I just wanted to know your advice. Just
in whichever era we could help you, and that's why it's not that strict. We want to try to bring as many in as we can, accommodate. If we have to kind of like do double duty and satisfy Dr. Gloria at her level, and Sis Khadija at her level, Shamsuddin at his level, right?
Okay.
If I drop out, y'all just have to pick up, but I'm trying to juggle all these areas.
Well, I'd just like to add that one of the benefits of this class for me is that not just learning the Arabic, because as I said, I'm pretty much a novice at Arabic, and but the benefit for me is that we get to discuss Islamic studies. So it's not just Arabic. It's also Islamic studies and the tafsir of the Imam Muhammad and the contributions that this community has made to Islamic life. Okay. So there are benefits on a multitude of levels, and so that's what I enjoy about it. And this entire project was born out of. Hold on. Question.
Yeah, my bad. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get a seat. Hold on one second.
We do have a book that we use also. So we do encourage home study, homework, and you're right. That effort to bring the pieces together and see them and work with them. Reading and writing as a literate person, right? Be able to read as well as write. So yes, but we definitely would like to accommodate, if we can, anyone who's interested. We're serving the community, basically, if you look at it. And we have to admit that our class are designed for those seniors, older person. So we go at a slower pace, based on what we're able to comprehend, not to overload ourselves. But it works well. It works well. There's something for everyone, sure.
It does, and having the benefit of all of those methods, right, if you will. The method of this community history, the method of the tafsir of Imam Muhammad, the method of our own life experiences, right? And so that's worked very well, I think, for those of us in the class. I think that coming in, is excuse me, it's almost as if we're approaching this with baby steps in some ways. Because we're trying to really grow our knowledge and awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Trying to really grow our conceptualization of what that is, being Muslim, learning this language, and the mercies of Allah.
Assalamu alaikum. I may be out of line here, but I have long-standing relationships with some of the people on this line and their relationship to time. And, we're
mercy, sure. Help your brother. Help your brother.
Well, we recognize
I don't know how to
my dear brother. We recognize we know that there was some editing that will occur because we actually started 10 minutes late, so we're going to full hour because we recognize that that there's some editing.
Oh, the hour. That's what I'm saying. We've already gone the hour. I don't know if there's a grace period, if we're in the grace period.
Well, we are actually trying to wrap up. I wanted to ask if Sister Khadijah or Brother Ishmael or Brother Shamstein had any other comments to make?
Inshallah, the only thing I have to suggest is that anybody that's not Muslim, they could be Christian, Jew, whatever, would encourage them to at least get them a Quran and get a Quran, a copy, and read it into English. And what happens, and you know, you can work from there, but get that and get some kind of understanding from that. If you're an English speaker, I encourage the one that are not Muslims or following the Deen of Islam, encourage them to get a Quran and get involved. Just read it. Just pick it up and read it. See where you at.
Yes, thank you so very much. If there are no other questions, I just want to encourage everyone to join the Masjid Al-Taqwa's YouTube channel. Subscribe. This presentation will be on our channel, and so I just want to note that and thank all of you, all of your comments, and we look forward to growing our class. We look forward to the insights and the awareness that we will bring collectively, because that's what this is. This is a collective program and process.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Yes.
So I thank you all. And there are no other questions. If there are questions, shout them out. And if not, we will conclude.